Hello everyone, I'm MegaMan6564, and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we finished off another part of the trial, and in today's episode, it's the last possible day for evidence gathering, unless I guess special exceptions are made. So let's continue. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measure. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly, that's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings? On the night Marshall was murdered, Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you, yes, I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. Interesting. Okay. So let's talk to her about these things. Happened 2 years ago, it was right about this time of year as well. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office, Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. Permanent picture? Oh boy. Okay. I don't remember the moment when Drake stabbed Mr. Marshall, so you weren't able to testify about that. No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Oh my. Lana forged the evidence and Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yeah, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known that he was given false... he didn't know he was given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Edgeworth, it's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. Okay, and what's the permanent picture? What did you see in the instant the crime occurred? Dark knocked down Marshall and raised his knife. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14. That's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies, and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time. That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor. Oh, there's no mystery there. Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. Why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices and the questioning room were right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case is when she transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Okay, well, let's go have another talk with her then. Alright. Lana, Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence? I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago and how the SL9 was the reason for your transfer. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change? I suppose you have a right to know. Okay, a lot of revelations were uncovered today. The fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen, I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believe in you, Lana. I believe that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At the trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, what the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma. This doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. They still talk about all the cases she and Gant cracked together. Gant? He was the vice head of criminal affairs, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever, they solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Really? But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could later use that experience in court. Gant's help in the SL9 was critical in its resolution after that. He became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Alright, let's talk about the dark investigations. Okay. One moment. Let me just move that over there. Okay, that's better. 2 years ago, I was second in command of detectives investigating dark. Second in command, that means the chief detective was no doubt Damon Gant. Yes, Detective Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when the last murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Really? Detective Gann and Prosecutor Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages when Dark must have panicked. He waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down and then booked it. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene. It appears so. I was filling some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. So what did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in that SL9. That's right, quite a coincidence. I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident, just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Drake at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Gant now occupies by himself, the chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office. Okay. Let's see if we can get to the police department. Here we go. Give me a moment. Just need to press. There we go. It's good coffee. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck would run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know about the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Okay. Something was fishy about the trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either, all the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. Murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife? That was Dark's, all right. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there is a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Interesting. That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he? Your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You don't mean... King of Prosecutors. Not that again. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SL9 took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have already gone by. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away. What about Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Gant and Sky. Okay. Gant and second in command Sky. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office. Yeah, Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is well too guarded. I never found out. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure, that boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict, but someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Wow. Well, let's go to visit our good friend Mr. Gant. Place is empty. Today it's deserted. Must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. With the chief prosecutor saying that she did and the decision about what to do about Edgeworth, not to mention her statement to the media and tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than the Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just head across the hall to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there, it's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. Alright, let's go visit our good friend Monsieur Gant. Why does he have a piano? Or an organ? Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said. Check out that pipe organ, that's real, isn't it? Yeah, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Mr. Wright, how have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. Provocative? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years ago. 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite... There's a sword, and the shield looks like it's broken still. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm gonna lock up here, so let's get out. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago. That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Can't deny our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the office. Well, let's go back then. Gumshoe! Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe! Were you in a meeting? I was, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long in the meeting? Actually, I had to serve everyone coffee. Wow. Say, have either of you seen Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battle between you two in courts. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Maybe if we give him evidence from SL9, he might know some stuff. Let's see. About this, hey, don't tell me that it has a tag attached to it with the label SL9. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker and was found in Edgeworth's muffler. That's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what was it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. And let's also give him... Actually, I don't think there's really anything. Let's just talk to him now. Alright, Edgeworth Crisis. Ugh, why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lanaska is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence he presents in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Edgeworth. Those who don't like him haven't been able to do anything because of his amazing talent as a prosecutor. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only had that, but he's young. There's no better SP I know of making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again, sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. It seems you don't have any problem with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out any? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl? Me. It seems Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating piece of evidence at all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here. Oh, so it's a good thing we showed him the murder weapon. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. Already done that. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. Businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. He killed a man that witnessed the accident, then he killed a lady who saw the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed him too. Then, when he was burying the bodies, a jogger came upon the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. He was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There isn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in, yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim, Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but fortunately he was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. Last witness, Emma. Wow. Okay. This knife, it was Stark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at, and it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone. That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Anyway, take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? Inside the victim. Neil Marshall was carrying it. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Stark's knife? You bet. Down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene. It's where Prosecutor Marshall was murdered. Chief's out now and his office is locked, but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What, really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be fired. I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. Okay. I guess let's go visit Edgeworth. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what went down in the evidence room. We proved today no one was murdered. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case, but instead it looks like we just end up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. We've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Alright, let's go talk to our good friend Edgeworth. Wonder if Edgeworth is back yet? There he is. Looks like he's writing something. Huh? What are you doing here? You sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Well, I'm gonna examine that ball that you just threw. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out there at the window? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what the girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you can't read it, I'll read it for you. It says, letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, Mr. Wright. I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know, the path I've walked... You don't need to tell me. The path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done, and no one else should forgive me either. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation. Gumshoe. Show that to Gumshoe, he'll be like, done. No. Oh, hang on. This one just has a shield, but if you look in the team picture, it has a sword. This picture is hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yeah? The trophy Marshall is holding is a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? That was the official prosecutor trophy used until that time. There's a story behind it. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. Okay. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error, my responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. The fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work, so tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Alright. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First, last year's trial, and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow is the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? List of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists are twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists. After Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but at the time there was only one thing on my mind. I'd use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. The picture. Alright, day of the crime. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered, you were participating in a ceremony over at the station. I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this. Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over. You finished up at the office? Yeah, just odds and ends. Clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that. Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to. That's right. Okay. The award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. Huh. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard the story before. Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these contradict. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus, the word for contradiction was born. Interesting. Are we only given a shield? We'll have to ask Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part abolished. Hmm. Nothing like some nice coffee on a good morning, on a nice Sunday morning. Anyways, let's continue on here. Excuse me. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Sure. I wouldn't mind a roast beef sandwich. Alright. You certainly are the curious sort, kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't all be attributed to mere chance. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Goodman, no matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Okay. Joe Dark, that's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been doing through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her. Lana Skye. My sister. The best of the best were put on the SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. Okay. Legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we're so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong. Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you didn't have proof anything illegal was done. And proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties, most without even so much as an explanation. Then Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used? Okay. Gant and Skye. 2 years ago, Gant was chief, Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together. Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. His magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Really? Oh yes, there were rumors about him, but even back then, no one dared confront him though. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever have recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago. Yes, thanks to Gant's powerful influence. That's right, having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean, that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, Rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Okay. Well, let's go back to our good friend Mr. Gumshoe. Alright. Oh, you're back. You're still here. I gotta make 150 copies of these files, brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a DJ. If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. Gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. There's gotta be something we can do to make Gumshoe change his mind. Here. Take this. No way. Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they've pushed him this far. Edgeworth really feels responsible. At first, I thought he was as cold as ice, but now I know different. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective. That's it. I've made up my mind. But, here, take my card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. So at least let me do this, for Edgeworth's sake. Alright, detective? Thank you. Let's go to the chief's office. Alright. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Open sesame. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Oh, Gumshoe. Got slapped again. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah, Gumshoe. What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried that something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, what's the point of giving us your ID card? Hey, don't do that to my card. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here. Whoops, wrong button. So I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I got a bad feeling about this. Alright. Desk on the other side of the room. Was that your sister's? Yeah, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. Strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk. No one except Gant. And the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes? I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why'd you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be. No. No, there's no way. Never mind, don't worry about it. Okay, then let's look around. Hey, hold on, not so fast, buddy. What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry. This guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Gant might be a suspect, do you? Yeah, Mr. Wright, what do you think of him? Chief Gant. So it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings yet. There he goes, ignoring me again. Ooh, there's a safe. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. Looks like a code needs to be entered. A 7-digit number. Are these 7 digits or are these 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I got it. If this is it, then Gant is our murderer. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date? It's... I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Oh, I actually have to... Okay. Okay. Gant's our murderer. We're good. Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that? 7777 777. The final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 777777777? That ID number? I think you're 1 7 shy this time. This can only mean one thing. That's Gant's ID number. Anyone care to look inside? Well, let's look. What's the worst that could happen, right? Any money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a shard from the... No, that's the missing piece of the thingy. Of the unstable jar. Something else in here? A piece of leather cloth. This is a handprint. Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design? No. Interesting. Unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I just can't let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line. We can do that. Come on, there's gotta be something we can show the detective. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? All of us put that back together. Oh, those were the days. It's kinda early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bell? You know that fragment we found? You mean this one? This was in the safe. Yeah, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Alright, let's do it. Wow. Talk about major slowdown. Oh my. There we go. Fits like a charm. That, of course, means Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of his jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9. Hey guys, get a load of this. What is it? Piece you just detached. It's different from the others. There's a lot of blood. Reddish line. That's blood. Alright, why would Gant hide this in his safe? Interesting. Let's see, where's our fingerprinting set? Should be somewhere here, right? Here we go. Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. Yeah, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints? That's great, Detective. Alright, go to town. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take. Come on, this isn't time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth. Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, what's your sense of humor? Non-existent. Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Once they've been absorbed, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get this over with. Let's examine the middle finger. Hooray for more slowdown! There we go. Let's look at whose fingerprint matches. No. 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 Huh? That's a match. It looks like a match to me. Why does it have Emma's hand fingerprints? How can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match. Whose fingerprints were they? Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be darks. Psst. Hey, you, over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this info from Emma from now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Okay. Look at the size of Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you too, Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence used in a case. A list of evidence. In most cases, the list runs twice as long. Yeah, look at the case name, huh? SL9. I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, Detective. What did you just say? I said I wonder what... No, about evidence lists? Normally they're twice as long. That's right, I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-sized list of evidence. Like Edgeworth had mentioned. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it. The chief must be hiding something about that case. It would appear so. Interesting. Well, was I any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Hee, Chief Gant. We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then I thought of a certain detective. You mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir. Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir... Now get out. Yes, sir. We'll be on our way too, then. Wait, you, the one without the spiky hair, don't go yet. Me? I'd like a word with you. But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright? What the hell is Gant doing? Look, pal, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, the chief's office is off limits, but no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it would be like this, I never would have said that. Now that I've seen the evidence, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. It's hard to believe anyone could keep quiet about it all this time. Anyway, listening to me, I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal. Huh. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police want to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. Alright, let's go to the detention center and visit Lana. I see, so the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really, I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said I was the one who stabbed Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. Who it is you're hiding behind those words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth. Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Alright. Okay, so let's talk to her. Ooh. I have to admit I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth, it's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting said person? Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? The one I'm so supposedly frightened of. What is the person's name? Gant. Well, Miss Guy? Mr. Wright, you're addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about the circumstances? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did, specifically hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly investigated that evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command. Yes, you, but also one other, Gant. If you intend to accuse Gant, you'll need more than just word. Show me proof that Gant falsified evidence in that case. Here you go. You want proof of the chief's wrongdoings? Here. That evidence proves someone is doing something wrong, all right. But it's not the chief. Who would it be? Why, you, of course. Me? Yes. You seriously believe what you're saying, don't you? Now that's scary. You seem to have the makings of a criminal in you. What, with all your fallacious accusations? Care to spend tonight in the next cell? If you ask me, you're the scary one. Maybe if we show her the list. Mr. Wright, you're evolving by leaps and bounds. I'm starting to see the hunger in your eyes. So do we have to redo this? I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece, this strip of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9. The person concealing evidence was none other than Gant. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised, I cannot disobey the chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate in the murder of Detective Goodman, or perhaps I should say follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. So she did kill him then. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk was broken. I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon, the knife, Edgeworth's knife. No, when I found the body, this knife was the knife stuck in it. The knife from the SL9. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. So she did stab him. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And this is the reason for the bandage. Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoe as well. And then, she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Mr. Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? Interesting. It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that, by whatever means possible, so you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have had a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it, in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right. Then I called my sister to tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma. I didn't want anyone on this force to know about it. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling. The truth is, after I received those orders from Gant, first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? Lead investigator for SL9 had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust, or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean, not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Officer Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you, but Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial, there's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. So next time on Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, we begin the last day of the trial, the last day of this chapter, and begin the last, the end of this chapter, I guess, because it's the last trial. So yeah, until then, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. So for now, so long.